Hi friends, this is Sue Schoning from the Soul Lighthouse. We spoke last week about the energy that December 2017 has in store for us. And if you remember, I said there were two messages. And the first message is all about structural integrity. And I said to you last week that December is asking us to check the structure of our lives before we go into a new year with new demands and new stresses and new challenges, to check the structure of our lives. Most people have had a very demanding year, and some of us have had good moments, and some of us have had bad moments, and some of us have had bloody awful years. But it's been a very demanding, very challenging year, work wise, home wise, relationship wise, money wise, for very many people on the planet. And the message that December has is all about checking the structure and doing almost like a system check and saying, where am I now? What is my structure looking like right now? Where am I now in terms of my home? What is my home structure looking like? Is it solid? Where is my work? What is happening on my work front? What about the money? Let me do a systems check. Let me evaluate where I am and what's going on. And the reason that we need to do the structural integrity report, if I can put it that way, is because we're moving into an energy in 2018 where the pressure is going to increase. You've heard it said so many times that change is the order of the day. There is a lot of challenge, there is a lot of change. And change, like everything, comes with a duality. It's exciting and it's exhilarating and it is stretching us and pulling us into new climates and new opportunities and new perspectives of ourselves. And that's wonderful. But the flip side of change is that it pushes us out of our comfort zone. It pushes us into a space of anxiety. It tells us to get out of our hole and get moving. And that's not always easy. We like to think that change is going to be romantically, idealistically beautiful. So if I change this job, I'm going to find myself in a much better space. But you know as well as I do that change sometimes takes us by the scruff of the neck and it shakes us, turns us upside down, and it says, what are you going to do? Come on, let's get going. And so sometimes it's not always that comfortable. So before we get into the very accelerated, very dynamic, very changing energy that 2018 has in store for us, December is saying, do a system check. Do a structural integrity report on all the key areas of your life. I once lived in a house where the landlord, it was a very old house, and the landlord would just deal with problems with a little bit of polyfiller and a little bit of putty, and he would paint over it. And cracks would appear in the walls. And instead of dealing with the cracks and instead of dealing with them properly, all he would do is he would put in a little bit of polyfiller and he would paint over it. So what would happen? A year down the line, the crack would reappear, only this time it would be a little bit bigger. But he wouldn't repair it, he would just polyfiller it and we'd do the same thing. And so 6 months later, what would happen was the crack would reappear, only it was a little bit bigger. And here he was trying to put a polyfiller job on something that was threatening the structural integrity of his building. We need to make very sure that we're in a space where we look at the key elements of our lives and we say, where are the cracks? Where are the cracks? Where have I been doing a polyfiller job where actually what I really need to do is a bit of excavation? I need to hollow out that crack properly and I need to repair it once and for all. Why? Because the load that I want this wall to carry in 2018, it needs to be solid. It's a bit like I have all these plans and I have all these changes that I want to make for my house. And I've decided that I want to take my little house and I want to build another floor on top. So I want to go up and add a whole new floor on top of my house. But if my foundations are not solid, if the walls are not solid, they will not be able to hold the load of what I'm trying to put on top. And so for December, be in this space very clearly where you turn around and say, what is my structural support like? What are my foundations like? And the key things like my money, on the key things like my business, on the key things like my relationship, my home, my health. What are the key things that are holding up your building? Do the system evaluation. Make sure that you spend the rest of the month applying and fixing and repairing and replacing and making sure that your structural integrity is airtight. Because here's the reality, 2018 is a year of extremes. It's going to push us. Change is coming. And we can either say, I'm ready, I am so ready for it, I've got all my ducks in a row, and I'm ready for change, and embrace it with open arms and go charging off with foresight and with planning. Or we will be swept away by change as it takes us out of our comfort zone. So in our next video, I'm going to be talking about the challenges of this change. I'm going to be talking about what areas it's going to be challenging us and where it's going to be moving us. So watch out for that. But until we get to there, check the video that I recorded last week. If you haven't seen it yet, you can see the link underneath here. Look at the 4 pillars of your life right now and say, where is my structural integrity? Where do I need to repair? Where do I need to seal? Where do I need to heal? Where do I need to shore up my foundations so that when this change comes, we are ready. We are so, so ready to be able to move forward into our very best potential. I'll be back with you soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.